Boker Tov, everyone. Good morning on this truly beautiful day. Let us begin by singing the words of Modeh or Modah Ani, thanking God for this gift. Modah Ani lefanecha. I give thanks to you, living and enduring sovereign, for you have mercifully restored my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. Today we are moving through our 5th week in the wilderness, our 5th week of the Omer, from the holiday of Passover until the holiday of Shavuot, where we receive the Torah. And in order to go into a little story that I'm going to tell for today, let us first say our blessing for counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom Shnayim u'shloshim yom shehem arba'a shavuot v'arba'a yamim la'omer. Today is 32 days, which is 4 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. Before I go into my story for today, I just want to thank you all so much for being here. It is time for Rabbi Romper Room. So Andrea, so lovely to see you. Diane, it's lovely to see you. Jay and Hannah, Pam and Sarah, so wonderful to be with you. Pam, I see you were walking at the beach earlier this morning. That is such a beautiful way to start the day. Rachel, it's great to see you, and Tina and Elliot and Marla. I'm so glad that all of you are here. Eve and Michelle, Rabbi Catherine and Donnie, thank you all for being here in Sacred Community as we move through our days of the Omer. And for everyone else who is here right now, who maybe I can't see, but who is present or who will be later on, thank you so much for joining in this sacred tradition that we have of marking our days and hopefully making each day count. So putting together something for each day of the Omer is a little bit of a challenge, and it is also really a blessing, because it allows me to really think about the deeper meanings underneath this story from a place of narrowness to a place of expanse. And as I was looking through this particular week, which is all about finding meaning, I was taken back to my very first experience in a rabbinic role around Passover. I was a student rabbi in a small congregation out in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. And I was called right before Passover by a prison. There were some inmates in the prison who really wanted to have a Seder. Now, the prison wasn't able to make that happen. It was too challenging for them to figure out, unfortunately. But they asked, could I come? Could I come? Could I bring some matzah? Could I just be with these guys in this prison? And that's exactly what I did. So the prison itself, I mean, it was a low security prison. It didn't look like this in this picture. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing so I can just, there we go. It was a prison in which there were some people who were Jewish, but there were other people who said that they were interested in Judaism and they really wanted to connect with Judaism. This often happens in prison for a number of reasons I'm not going to go into now. But essentially, I came in and some of these guys really didn't know very much about Passover. And they asked me to explain what it was. So I started to tell them the story of the Exodus, the story about how our people were enslaved, unable to pray to God, their freedoms taken away from them. And one of the guys kind of smirked and said, kind of like us. And I was like, yes, but. And we began to talk about some of the spiritual aspects of what freedom and what imprisonment really mean. We began to talk about the ways in which sometimes our choices can imprison us. Sometimes the everyday routines we get ourselves in, the way in which we kind of embroil ourselves in situations that aren't necessarily the best for our souls. And we began to talk about the choices that we can make and what it means to make choices that actually can give us freedom, even in a prison. That yes, there are things in life we can't control. We know that from this past year. We know that we couldn't control the pandemic. We know that we couldn't control so many of the things that needed to shut down. But there are things that we could control. The way in which we approach things, the way in which we prioritize how we spend our time. And as I told this story, one of the guys I will never remember, this really big guy, tattoos all on his arm, he began to tear up and he began to say, this is a story that was made for us. Maybe we can be free even in here. And hearing him say those words gave me goosebumps up and down my arm, because if he could find that meaning in the story, then surely all of us can too. There is a text I wanted to share with you, just really briefly, something that Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik wrote from his book Festival of Freedom. Contemporary man is an unfree being because he is insecure. Man is a social animal and cares about public opinion. Modern man does all he can in order to win favor in the eyes of the public. Even those who are legally free men, those who are not slaves, are in bondage to nature, to society, to restrictive phobias, superstitions, and prejudices. There is only one way for man to free himself from all his restrictions, from all his fears, from all his phobias. Surrender to God frees man from his serfdom to his fellow man. Modern man is not free. A frightened person cannot be free. Terror and fear mean captivity for man. Now, this idea of surrender to God may or may not feel appropriate to us. Maybe we wouldn't use those words, but I think what he's ultimately talking to underneath it is this idea that there is more expanse than we sometimes allow ourselves to see in this world, that there are restrictions that are put on us by societal ideas, by restrictions, by phobias, by superstitions, by prejudice. We see this around us all the time that can hold us back, that can make us imprisoned in ways that we do not need to be. And perhaps by surrender to God, he means seeing the bigger picture, connecting to something that is larger than the man-made systemic ideas that we have. And so today, as we are finding our way on this journey, I want to ask you this question, which is, what obstacles are you experiencing in your journey to freedom? What are the things that are holding you back? Maybe there's something internal, the choices that need to change. Maybe you spend so much time with work that you don't have enough time with friends. Maybe you have an addiction that you need to overcome. Maybe there's so many opportunities in front of you that you're just not yet seeing. Whatever it is that is holding you back, today is a day to reflect on it as we find our way forward. Finally, I want to just conclude, as we do each day, with the words of the Mishaberach prayer, the prayer for healing. Because we know and we are so grateful that COVID numbers are going down in our community and are been consistently doing so. We hope it stays that way. But we also know that in many parts of the world, that is not the case. And we know that even if COVID numbers are going down, there are so many people in our community and in our lives who are struggling with healing of mind, healing of body, and healing of spirit. People in our community who are mourning for loved ones. And so as we offer this Mishaberach prayer, we hope that it will give each of them a little bit of healing and a little bit of the feeling of concern and care that each of us hold for our fellow human beings. I invite you to join with me in Lisa Levine's Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mishaberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mishaberach Avotenu, Mishaberach Imotenu, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. I hope everyone has a truly blessed day. Today at 12:30, we will have Torah study, and of course, everyone is welcome. There will not be Cantor's Corner this evening. Of course, we understand as the Cantor continues to mourn for his mother. But I look forward to seeing you also again tomorrow as we continue with these days of the Omer.